Jaya Charanaravindam Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru.
All glories to
All
Guru.
glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nityanamane. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pucharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, titled Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 5, titled, what's the title? Verse,
The cause of
all causes. The cause of all causes. Text 20. Sa Esha Bhagavan Lingais Tribhir Etair Adhokshajah Swalakshita Gatir Brahman Sarvesham Mama Cheshwaraha Sa Esha Bhagavan Lingais Swalakshitagatir Brahman Sarvesham Mama Cheshwaraha Saesha Bhagavan Lingais Swalakshitagatir Brahman Sarvesham Mama Cheshwaraha Saesha Bhagavan Lingais Swalakshitagatir Brahman Sarvesham Mama Cheshwaraha
Saesha Bhagavan Lingais Swalakshitagatir Brahman Sarvesham Mama Cheshwaraha
Sarvesham Mama Cheshwaraha.
Saesha Bhagavan Lingais
Swalakshitagatir Brahman
Sarvesham Mama Cheshwaraha
Saesha Bhagavan Lingais Vidhir Etairathokshajah Swalakshitagatir Brahman Sarvesham Mama Cheshwaraha
Sesha Bhagavan Lingai
Sesha Bhagavan Lingai
Tribhireta Radhokshajaha
Tribhireta Radhokshajaha
Lakshita Gatir Brahman
Lakshita Gatir Brahman
Sarvesha Mamacheswaraha
Sarvesham Mamacheshwaraha
Mataji.
Sesha
Bhagavan Lingai
Tribhireta Radhokshajaha
Lakshita Gatir Brahman
Sarvesham Mamacheswaraha
Sesha Bhagavan Lingai
Tribhireta
Radhokshajaha
Lakshita Gatir Brahman Sarvesham Mamacheswaraha
Aha, he, Eshaha, this, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Lingaihi, by the symptoms, Tribhihi, by the three, Etaihi, by all these, Adhokshajaha, the superseer transcendence, Sualakshita, veritably unseen, Gatihi, movement, Brahman, O Narada, Sarvesham, of everyone, Mama, mine, Cha, as also, Ishwaraha, the controller. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Brahmana Narada, the superseer, the transcendent Lord, is beyond the perception of the material senses of the living entities because of the above mentioned three modes of nature. But he is the controller of everyone, including me. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.24 to 25, the Lord has declared very clearly that the impersonalist who gives more importance to the transcendental rays of the Lord as Brahmajyoti, and who concludes that the absolute truth is ultimately impersonal and only manifests a form at a time of necessity, is less intelligent than the personalist. However, much the impersonalist may be engaged in studying the Vedanta. The fact is that such impersonalists are covered by the above mentioned three modes of material nature. Therefore, they are unable to approach the transcendental personality of the Lord. The Lord is not approachable by everyone because he is curtained by his Yoga Maya potency. But one should not wrongly conclude that the Lord was formerly unmanifested and has now manifested himself in the human form. This misconception of the formlessness of the personality of Godhead is due to the Yogamaya curtain of the Lord and can be removed only by the supreme will as soon as the conditioned soul surrenders to him. The devotees of the Lord who are transcendental to the above three modes of material nature can see the all blissful transcendental form of the Lord with their vision of love in the attitude of pure devotional service. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sa Esha Bhagavan Lingais Tribir Etair Adhokshajaha Swalakshita Gatar Brahman Sarvesham Mamacheshwaraha. O Brahmana Narada, as a superseer, the transcendent Lord is beyond the perception of the material senses of the living entities because of the above mentioned three modes of nature, but he is the controller of everyone, including me. So Brahma continues his response to Sri Narada. Before that, I have a new wonderful rule. Is that this section of the hall during Bhagavatam class is out of bounds. So no, you're in bounds. So so this section is out of bounds. Devotees who want to stand can stand here. Okay, then everything outside the window won't look so attractive. Okay, so so Brahma is continuing his explanation to Sri Narada Muni as to how Krishna is the supreme controller, and is also answering Narada Muni's question as to how the universe is created. As I said in a previous class, I think it was 2 verses ago or maybe 3 verses ago, Brahma begins the explanation as to how from here, Sattvam Rajas Tama iti, that he explains from this verse how the creation is actually happening. So right now, in this verse, he declares that although the Supreme Lord had accepted, it said in a previous verse that he accepts, the 3 modes of material nature, forms in the 3 modes of material nature. He accepts these 3, 3 modes. Here in this verse, he is very clearly declaring that Supreme Personality of Godhead is above the 3 modes. Tribir eter adhoksajaha. He is adhoksaja. He is the superseer of all these 3 modes. He is not personally subject to those 3 modes. Rather, the 3 modes, and he says here, the gatihi, the movement. So it says here, swalakshita gatir brahman, that the movement of these 3 modes is happening which is unseen, is happening under his supervision, that under his, on his order. Why? Because he is Ishvara, of whom? Including Brahma himself. So Srila Prabhupada, he goes into the purport in his typical fashion, where he attacks the Mayavadis. Why does he attack the Mayavadis? Because Supreme Personality of Godhead is unseen, and previously he has also been declared to have accepted forms of the 3 modes of material nature. So therefore, people like the Mayavadis conclude that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is subject to the 3 modes of material nature when he accepts them. Why is this important to understand? Because this more or less forms the basis of their philosophy as to why all of us are God. Because they think Krishna also does the same thing, we also do the same thing. That's the point. That, then Prabhupada, so their concept is that when the Supreme Personality of God, as Srila Prabhupada goes here in the purport, he says that the impersonalist who gives more importance to the transcendental layers of the Lord as Brahma Jyoti, and who concludes that the absolute truth is ultimately impersonal, only manifests a form at a time of necessity, is less intelligent and then the personalist. So of course this is, these are famous verses from Bhagavad Gita. Anybody? Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyate mam abuddhayaha param bhavam ajananto mamavyam. Krishna says, one who thinks that the form appears from the formless, that which has a form has appeared from that which is formless, is less intelligent. He is less intelligent. Why is this important? Because in Shastras, it is in the Vedic texts, all in Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, everywhere it is declared that this Brahman, the source of everything, is above 3 modes. Nirguna. This word is constantly used, meaning that the source of everything, the supreme absolute truth is nirguna. He does not belong to these three modes of material nature. He is not contaminated by these three modes of material nature. So the Mayavadis, but this world, what is this world? This world is consisting of the three modes of material nature. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, Daivi esha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. That this material world, there is another verse also. Tribir gunamayir bhaver ebi sarvam idam jagat. So Tribir gunamayir bhaver. That this material nature, what is this? What is this material nature? What is everything we see? It's just three modes of material nature. All you see is three modes of material nature. So these three modes of material nature is what this world consists of. Therefore, when God comes into this world, He also must accept three modes of material nature. And that's what it said. That's what Bhagavatam says. But in order to fit this, see, the way the Bhagavatam is explaining is that even though Supreme Personality of Godhead comes and accepts the three modes of material nature, he is not subject to them. He just plays. For instance, a traffic policeman may obey the laws may obey the traffic rules, but if he breaks them, he's not going to get penalized. Because say he speeds to catch the criminal, he's not going to get penalized for this. But generally, because it is the laws of nature that he has established, when Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts this for the sake of the creation, he plays that part. Now, the Mayavadis, however, conclude that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because it is stated previously that he is accepting these three modes of material nature, he has now accepted material forms. What is the problem with accepting a material form? One, and second thing is material form has karma. That when a living entity accepts a material form, he accepts it. What is the result of this form? What is that? What is that verse in Bhagavad Gita? No. That the living entity, that he accepts the body because of karma. That bhungte prakriti janunan karanam guna sangase sadasat yoni janmasu. So there is another one also. I'm trying to think of that verse also. Bhoktitve hetu ruchate. Yes. So the point is that the living entity accepts a form made of the three modes of material nature because of karma. It is simply because of karma that we accept these three modes of material nature. And when we accept the three modes of material, we are subject to karma as well. Now, the foolish impersonalist Mayavadis, they declare that Krishna also does the same thing, and therefore Krishna also has to rid himself of sinful activities when he comes to the world. Therefore, this is their explanation as to why did of course that's the most famous one. That why did Lord Rama worship Shiva? Because he had to get rid of a sinful activity of killing Ravana, who's the son of a Brahmana, and therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead also has to get rid of these things. And they go so far to state, some of them go so far as to state, this is the more recent Neo-Mayavadis, they go so far to state that Krishna, when he was a child, he was more ignorant. He was just playing like some ordinary kid, stealing butter and this and that. But later he became enlightened and spoke Bhagavad Gita. And all these, basically what they do is they equate the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they pull the Supreme Personality of Godhead down to their mundane platform because that's all that they can see, that's all that they can understand. Why? Now, one would think, why are they doing this? Why can't they accept that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental? He is not affected by the three modes of material nature. Even his so-called acceptance of the three modes of material nature is after so much it is through infusing his potency through certain living entities like Brahma. He infuses his potency. Therefore, for instance, Brahma is a guna avatar, where he is empowered with that mode of material nature, which comes from Krishna. It's not that Krishna himself has accepted a material form. So this is a major misconception that the Mayavadis have. And the Jains take this even further. The Jains, what do they say? The Jains say that, Krishna is not as pure, Rama a little more pure. He's about to reach that state of whatever they call the state in Jainism. That it's not nirvana, it's something. Tirthankara. That you reach the platform of Tirthankara, where you are completely free of all desires and all sins. And according to and in the Buddhists have another version of this, the Theravada Buddhism, so which is practiced in Sri Lanka. I think it's Mahayana.
Because they have the demigods and all.
Yeah. So Mahayana. So in the Mahayana form of Buddhism, they declare that the demigods, all of them, they're all on their way to become Buddha.
Wow.
They're just they're making their way there. And Vishnu also. Vishnu is pretty close, but so they're making their way up. And so the idea is nirvana, that when you become when you stop having desire, when you cease to have desire. See, this is why Buddhism is based. So Mayavad is basically covered Buddhism. Mayavada Satchastam Prachannam Bauddham Uchyate. So this comes in Padma Purana. This is Shankaracharya's mission, right? So why is Mayavad covered Buddhism? Because according to Buddhism, you are accepting repeated birth and death. Why are you accepting repeated birth and death?
Desire.
Because of desire. You have desire, therefore you are accepting repeated birth and death. And what do you need to do to stop repeated birth and death? You should stop having desire. So when you stop having desire, you will stop taking repeated birth and death. But you know what? When you stop having desire, then you will also cease to exist, because what are you? There is no you. That it is just desire. So they can't really explain what is exactly transmigrating from body to body. They explain all the laws of karma and this and that while missing the soul out, which is like, and because it is it's a very difficult explanation. It's a very difficult philosophy. How do you explain that emptiness and nothingness is being forced to take birth again and again and again, and it was, we don't really know what it was before, but somehow that nothingness became subject to this repeated birth and death, and actually the world also doesn't really exist because everything is nothing, right? You don't exactly exist, but somehow there's still laws of karma, and you're transmigrating from the cycle of birth and death, and you have to stop having desire, and basically you stop the flow. They keep talking about a flow in Buddhism. Because they talk a flow, you stop the flow. But the followers of the Vedas say, what is flowing? Where is the flow? Where does the flow exist? On what does it exist?
Until you hear the sound of one hand clap.
So, anyways, the point is just stop. Ultimately, you have to stop thinking. Stop. Just stop. And in that state of silence, you will discover nothingness and nirvana, and it's anyways. So now the demigods and all they're all on their way to become like this. Okay, the Jains also similar. It's kind of similar, Now, what do the Mayavadis say? They just replace that nothingness with Brahman. That's all. Nothing else is different. That they replace that nothingness with Brahman. That what happens when the spirit soul wants to become? So they accept that
they basically say that there is only one thing that exists. So the Buddhists say nothing exists. The Mayavadis say there's only one thing that exists. What is that one thing? Brahman. Brahman Satyam, Jagat Mithya. Now, actually, I forgot. I forgot to bring this. Can you please get the Bhagavatam that's on my desk? I forgot to bring it. So Srila Prabhupada here now, if you want to say that only Brahman exists and nothing else exists, right? Only Brahman exists, meaning this is Brahman, this is Brahman, the three modes of material nature is Brahman, you are Brahman, everything is Brahman. Okay, you are Brahman, I am Brahman, everything is Brahman. Okay, if everything is Brahman, and if everything is Brahman and Brahman is supreme, why am I feeling that I am controlled? Well, that is because of what? That is because you are in Maya. That is illusion. Why do you not understand that you are Brahman and everything is Brahman? I always quote this often. Thank you. I always quote this often. I remember once the Sringeri, the current pontiff, Bharati Mahatirtha Swami, he was giving a class and he was giving it in Tamil. Unfortunately, in my house it was being played, when I visited. And he's literally saying, this mic and myself and all of you, there is no difference. You are seeing difference between this being matter and us being spirit, and you are seeing this difference. Actually, this difference is Maya. There is no difference. See how it mirrors the Buddhist explanation. There is nothing. This doesn't exist. You don't exist. Nobody exists. Just replace all of that nothingness. This is Brahman. I am Brahman. You are Brahman. Why do you not realize it is Brahman? Because you are in Maya. So, therefore, we Gaudiya Vaishnavas call them Mayavadis. Because although they talk about Brahman, their primary philosophy is to explain Maya. That they basically their whole explanation is that it is all Maya. So now, to come out of Maya, what does Brahman need to do?
He needs to take care of knowledge.
Ahangropasanam. Ahangropasanam. You have to learn to worship yourself. You have to become absorbed in the self. So, but before you come to worshipping yourself, people are not used to this. It is very difficult for people because you are in the world of duality. We are all in the world of duality. In duality means what? There is higher and lower. Higher, lower is there, hot and cold, happiness and distress, light and darkness. Actually nothing. Everything is Brahman. You understand? No. You don't. You're in Maya. So you're in the world of duality. Now, to channel your duality, to be able to understand that you are actually that Brahman, you are actually that self, Shankara begins by saying, okay, see, we accept Vedas, and Vedas are meant for purification, because when you're too much in the mode of ignorance, you cannot access knowledge. Without knowledge, how will you understand? Without knowledge, you cannot understand you are Brahman. And to practice knowledge, you cannot be in the mode of ignorance and passion. You have to come to the mode of goodness. Therefore, they give so much importance to the Varnashram system, and the caste system rigidly followed by these neo-Mayavadis are completely bogus. They have no understanding. The Shankarites, they give so much importance to the Vedas, to the samskaras, to all the Vedic rituals, all this, because they emphasize that you have to come to the higher modes of material. You have to take birth. You have to be born as a Brahmana, and then you have to cultivate knowledge, because until you come to the platform of Brahmana, you are not qualified to read Vedas. Without becoming a Brahmana, how can you read Veda? You cannot read Veda. Now, the thing is, just reading Veda also is not useful. Why? Because Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Vedas are just three gunas. Vedas are also dealing with the three modes of material nature. Why? Because the Vedas tell you, what is that? Swargam. No, in Bhagavad Gita. Vidyamam somapa puta papa yajnai rishta swargatim prartayante. Te punyamasad surendra lokam ashnanti divyan divideva bhogan. So these people are encouraged in is part of the Vedic thing. Oh yeah, you worship the demigods, you get this, you get that, and all this. Now, why are the Shankarites emphasizing? Well, at least if you follow the Vedas, you're going to get purified. You're going to get purified. But then slowly, you are, and in the process of the Varnashram system, you will associate with sannyasis. You will worship sannyasis, and they will teach you a little bit about renunciation. They will teach you a little bit about these things. Okay? Now, the highest platform is when this, now again, according to the Shankarites, to become a sannyasi, you have to be a Naishtika brahmachari. Brahmana is given. Only Brahmanas take sannyas in caste system. Only Brahmanas take sannyas. Kshatriyas stop with vanaprastha. So you have to become a Brahmana to take sannyas. Why do you have to take sannyas? Because you have to become completely free of sex desire. Why? Because the sex desire is what causes you to enjoy this world. And as long as you're thinking you're an enjoyer of this world, what is the problem? You get entangled in the cycle of birth and death. So mukti, liberation, is out of the question. So you're going to get. So to control that sex desire, what do you need to do? You need to take sannyas. Then, but now you have taken sannyas. You have taken sannyas, and now you have also crossed all the the different forms of Vedas and this and that, because now you are sannyasi. You have crossed all the varnas and ashramas. You are on the top. That means what? That means you're not supposed to be desirous of all these material pleasures, because sannyasi means renunciation, right? You have to exhibit strict renunciation. Means you're renouncing material pleasures. Now you are qualified to read Vedanta, because Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Vedanta is about the three modes of material nature, because Vedanta is the crux of the Vedas. And therefore you read Vedanta. Now to read Vedanta, the problem of Vedanta, what's the problem with the Vedanta and the Upanishads in general? That Vedanta is aphorisms. So you need to, they are just short, they're basically 3-4 words. And they are not even a full sentence, they're just phrases. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Now inquire into Brahman. It's just a statement, it's not even a complete sentence. A complete sentence has to have a subject, an object, and a, what is this? A predicate, yeah. All this kind of thing. So the Vedanta Sutra doesn't have all of this. It just says, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Therefore worship Brahman. Therefore inquire into Brahman. But therefore what? What is therefore? You can give 100 explanations. Then Jigyasa. What is Jigyasa? What does it mean to inquire? That you can give further explanations. Brahman, what is Brahman? You can give more explanations. And like this, the Vedanta Sutra has so much. For instance, the last phrase of the Vedanta Sutra is Shabdat Nivirtihi. That through sound, you will be liberated. Nivirtihi, you will achieve liberation. Through sound, you will achieve liberation. But what sound? Is it any sound? No. And which Shabda? Shabda, okay, what Shabda? Shabda generally understood to be word. What word? What word? They say it's Omkara. That by the Om, you will liberate yourself. Now, once you have come to the platform of being a sannyasi, you are no longer within the three modes of material nature. Therefore, you are not engaged in panchopasana, or you may do so just to set an example for others, but actually what you are doing, because now you have understood that you are Brahman, because now you are reading Vedanta Sutra, and now Vedanta Sutra means you are reading Shariraka Bhashya, Shankara Shariraka Bhashya, because Vedanta Sutra for them means Shariraka Bhashya, Shankara Shariraka Bhashya. Now the problem with the Vedanta Sutra is these aphorisms. But to understand aphorisms, you need to be expert in what? You need to be expert in Sanskrit. You need to be expert in grammar. Because without that, you cannot understand. You need, and not only do you need to be expert in Sanskrit, what also do you need to be expert in? That is grammar, that is Sanskrit. You're close, but not there. No? No, you already know, you're in Vedanta. They know all the Shastras. They learn everything in Gurukul, everything. They are expert. These Shankara Mayavadis. Nyaya, logic. You have to be expert in logic. You have to be expert in Nyaya. They give so much importance to Nyaya. So, I'll give you an example of this. Prabhupada is explaining very nice in this purport here. This is Canto 8, Chapter 19, Text 39. Okay? Maybe let me pull it up actually. Canto 8, Chapter 19, Text 39. What did you say? Satyam pushpa palam vidyad atma vrikshasya giyate vrikshe jivati tannasyad anritam moolam atmanaha. Okay, who's saying this? This is Shukra. Shukra speaking to Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is about to offer the entire universe to Vamana. He's about to offer it in donation. Vamana is asking for 3 steps of land. He's come to cheat Bali Maharaj. He's Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna has appeared in the form of a Vamana, Brahmana dwarf, and he's coming to beg charity. And he's saying, I just need 3 pieces of land from you. But what is Vamana going to do? He's going to become Trivikrama. He's going to expand himself. And what does he do? With 1 step, he covers all the 3 worlds. Then, with the next step, what does he cover? He covers entire outer space. Everything that's left, he covers that. And then he expands his body to cover the entire universe. And then he asks Bali Maharaj, okay, where do I place the 3rd step? Then Bali Maharaj, being devotee of Krishna, his desire is finally fulfilled. He said, place your lotus feet on my head. And in this way, Bali Maharaj surrenders. So, now, before Bali Maharaj is about to, offer everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shukracharya is making arguments as to why Bali Maharaj can retract his promise. And here, in this verse and purport, it said, the Vedas enjoin that the factual result of the tree of the body is the good fruits and flowers derived from it. But if the bodily tree does not exist, there is no possibility of factual fruits and flowers. Even if the body is based on untruth, there cannot be factual fruits and flowers without the help of the bodily tree. Okay. Now Prabhupada explains this. This shloka explains that in relation to the material world, even the factual truth cannot exist without a touch of untruth. Yes. Now here's where it starts to get complicated. The Mayavadis say, Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. The spirit soul is truth, the external energy is untruth. The Vaishnava philosophers, however, do not agree with the Mayavad philosophy. Even if for the sake of the argument, the material world is accepted as untruth. The living entity entangled in the illusory energy of the illusory energy cannot come out of it without the help of the body. Without the help of the body, one cannot follow a system of religion, nor can one speculate on philosophical perfection. Therefore, the flower and the fruit, pushpaphalam, have to be obtained as a result of the body. Without the help of the body, that fruit cannot be gained. The Vaishnava philosophy therefore recommends yukta vairagya. It is not that all attention should be diverted for the maintenance of the body, but at the same time, one's bodily maintenance should not be neglected. As long as the body exists, one can thoroughly study the Vedic instructions, and thus, at the end of one's life, one can achieve perfection. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatante kalevaram. Everything is examined at the time of death. Therefore, although the body is temporary, not eternal, one can take from it the best service and make one's life perfect. So, the point here is this argument that philosophers like to engage in. Is this world true or is this world untrue? So now some people say, well, the whole world is untrue. There's no truth to it. And Mayavadis say this. Everything is Brahman. Everything is illusion. Right? This is all illusion. And Mayavadis give this explanation. What happens when the Brahman So what is actually happening? You have air in the pot and air in the sky. Or sky and sky in the pot. So it basically refers to space. Okay, understand it as space. So when the earthen pot is smashed, what happens? The sky in the pot merges with the sky of the entirety of the sky. That place out of bounds. So that it merges with the entirety of the sky. So this they call Ghata Akash, Bhada Akash. That's what I said. Ghata Akash, Bhada Akash. Bhata Akash. Oh, okay. Ghata Akash, Bhata Akash. I thought, okay. Akash. Phata Akash. Phatash. Okay. Phata Akash. Okay. So the Akash in the pot is phat, and then it breaks open, and then it merges with the sky. Now so it's a very nice explanation. Or they give a drop of ocean water mixing with the ocean water. This is how the spirit soul, when attain liberation, merges with Brahman. And the Vaishnava philosophers ask, okay, your Ghata Akash, Phata Akash is, let's go to your explanation only. Where did the pot come from, sir? What is the ingredients of the pot? Who made the pot? On what does the pot exist? Like, which is the ground? It has to exist on something, or is just, where is it existing? On which stratum is all this existing on? So this is the same argument that's being made over here. Prabhupada is saying, even if for the sake of argument, the material world is accepted as untruth, the living entity entangled in illusory energy cannot come without it, without the help of the body. Without the help of the body, one cannot follow a system of religion, nor can one speculate on philosophical speculation. We speculate, everything is untrue, nothing exists. Who is determining that nothing exists? Who is the perceiver that nothing exists? What has realized that nothing exists? On what platform is that which realized that nothing exists existing on? So this they cannot explain. The Mayavadis cannot explain. Because if everything is Brahman, and if everything is Brahman, then the earthen pot is also Brahman. And the earthen pot is existing on Brahman. Basically, then why is there any difference? Because it's illusion. But where is the illusion existing? And if you say everything is illusion, why can't I just come out of it right now? Why can't I stop that illusion right now? No, I need the body, I need the mind, I need to perform a whole system of religion to come out of it. So this is where the Mayavadis, but they have to somehow explain this philosophy away. They need to explain. So what they do is they take shelter of grammar and logic. They take shelter of grammar and logic, and they start to twist and twist and twist, because they want to conclude that we are Brahman, we are God. They want to conclude this. They want to achieve that conclusion, that we are God. They don't want to accept anything else. Because they don't want to accept anything else, they have to come up with this very complicated philosophy. Whereas the Vaishnava philosophy is very easy to understand. Supreme Personality of Godhead has three energies. Primarily three energies. You have internal energy, you have marginal potency, you have external energy. Okay? Internal energy manifests the spiritual world. External energy manifests the material world. Living entity, which says Tatastha, who we are, can be subject to either the external energy or internal energy. He is subject to external energy when the living entity wants to enjoy separately from Krishna. He becomes part of the internal energy and serves Krishna when he recognizes that he is servant of Krishna and that he is not the enjoyer, Krishna is the enjoyer. When he understands how Krishna is the enjoyer, he will also understand how the entire material universe is being created. What is the purpose of its creation, how it is being created, how Krishna is natya dharo yatha. That just like an actor, like a playful actor, Krishna plays so many roles and he completely is not subject to it, because Krishna, he does not, even if he plays the role, as if, for instance, as Krishna is playing in the Damodara Leela, he is actually afraid of his mother and things like that. But all this is happening because of Krishna's own will. If Krishna wants to stop this, he can immediately stop it. And Krishna displays this renunciation also. Even with the gopis, he exhibits that renunciation. In one sense, if you read some of the pastimes of the gopis, it looks like Krishna is completely controlled. It looks like he's a plaything in the hands of the gopis. But also in the Rasa Leela, he exhibited his opulence of renunciation. He showed. Ultimately, nobody can control Krishna. But Krishna he's controlled by the love of his pure devotees. But ultimately, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, the Mayavadis cannot understand this. Because they cannot understand this, they come up with these complex, really, really complex word jugglery, where they have to explain away the Vedic injunctions. They have to explain, okay, now this is avyaktam vyakti mapanam. To consider that which has a form to come from that which has no form. Krishna says these people are considered to be less intelligent. Now you have to come to some obscure grammar meaning you have to find, and you have to take some obscure logic, take that rule, twist the meaning around and say vyaktam avyaktam apanna manyate mam abuddhaya. You change like this. Now, in this regard, going back to this purport actually, 2:5:20. So, Srila Prabhupada makes this point here that however much the impersonalists may be engaged in studying the Vedanta, the fact is such impersonalists are covered by the above three modes of material nature. Therefore, they are unable to approach the transcendental personality of Godhead. How can we say that the Mayavadis are covered by the three modes of material nature when their whole point and their whole practice is to come out of the three modes of material nature? Okay. What is the answer?
Because they have avishuddha buddhi, because they do not act for the lotus feet of Krishna, they imagine themselves as about the three modes of material nature, but they push down.
So because they don't worship the Supreme Personality of God's lotus feet, they have avishuddha buddhi, they have contaminated intelligence, and because of that contaminated intelligence, they can be fallen. But why is it? What is that contaminated intelligence?
Ahankara of thinking that they're tired of enjoying the world with their senses, so that they can't control the world. That's why they try to control their senses and think they become God. Because they miss the whole point that they can never be God, they suffer.
Right. That actually the Mayavadis, they are still subject to the three modes of material nature because, and this is how Maya, Krishna's illusory energy is so great that they who think vimukta, they think that they have become liberated from the three modes of material nature, but actually they are infected with the greatest desire to be Krishna. They want to be God. They actually consider themselves to be the maintainer, creator and destroyer of the entire universe, or equal to that. And they just think, well, right now, and Prabhupada, he very succinctly puts this. He said, what is this Mayavad philosophy? He says, God becomes dog and then dog becomes God, and this is your Leela. Because this is how the Mayavadis explain. They say, okay, why did, so then they give many explanations. They say, so how are we Brahman? So if you take a big mirror and you smash it, you'll have many small mirrors, small pieces of mirror, and you look at that, then what happens? Your reflection is reflected in each of the mirrors. Right? So it looks like one has become many. This is how they explain. This one has become many. It's found in, where is that found? Eko Bahushyam. Eko Bahushyam. So this Eko Bahusyam, they explain, which is found in the Vedas, this Eko Bahusyam, one became many. Is it like this? You take a big mirror, you break it, and it looks, actually, it's not that one became many because it's only reflected as many. What is it reflected on? No. What is that? Maya. Maya makes it seem that one is many, but actually it is all one.
The statement is false.
No, statement is true. It became, it apparently became.
It doesn't say apparently became.
You Your Maya.
Maya.
So, the so now, what is the problem with this concept? Where did the mirror come from? How did the mirror come? So their idea is that, oh, Brahman, we are Brahman. So how did we become conditioned like this? Because it's Brahma's Leela. Ultimately, they say even illusion comes from Brahman, right? It's, yeah, it comes from Brahman. So now, but how are we subject to that? Because it's Leela, we subject ourselves. And then to come out of it is Leela. But Prabhupada said, what kind of Leela is this? Your Leela is you've become subject to your very illusion. If Brahman is, so therefore they are Mayavadis, because actually according to their philosophy, Maya is greater than Brahman. Because we are Brahman and we are controlled right now by Maya, therefore Mayavadi. You are actually, you give more importance to Maya than to Brahman himself. Although you say that everything originates from Brahman and only Brahman exists, the fact is, this all of us who are supposed to be Brahman cannot stop our illusion just by our desire. We can't do it. We have to go through this whole, can you believe it? What they actually tell you, you have to go through the whole process of the caste system. You have to do so many samskaras, so many rituals, all to purify yourself. And finally, you have to become a Naishtika Brahmachari from your birth. You should have never had sex. You should not desire to have sex also. Then you become sannyasi, then you are qualified to read Vedanta. That's when suddenly you become Danda Matrena, Danda Matrena, Danda Grahena Matrena Naro Narayana Bhavet. Danda Grahena Matrena Naro Narayana Bhavet. That by picking up the Danda, the Nara man has become Narayana. Is become Narayana, because according to them, what is Narayana? And this is, see, every meaning you look, right? Even for the name Narayana, they'll have one impersonal meaning for Narayana. Oh, everything. They'll have an impersonal meaning. There is one meaning Narayana. What Narayana means, I actually don't know what it means, but you know. Taking shelter. He who gives shelter to all living entities, or he from to whom all the living entities approach for shelter. But they'll have another Mayavadi kind of meaning. I don't know what it is, And for each of this, they have so many meanings. Vasudeva, they have meaning for Vasudeva also. Vasudeva means all pervading. All pervading. Vasudeva doesn't refer to son of Vasudeva. Vasudeva refers to all pervading. So, therefore, I remember when I was talking to my uncle, who's a big Mayavadi, but you just see, he's Mayavadi, but he's worshipper of Satya Sai Baba. What? He's so, but this is what Mayavad makes you. It makes you into a complete fool. Now, if you talk, he'll say, see, according to Sanskrit, this, actually you're saying Vasudev, you're saying Krishna, and because it is said, right, in Bhagavad Gita it is said. Because I said, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadite Vasudeva Sarvamiti. He said, see, actually, Vasudev means all pervading. So all the jnanis, they surrender to the fact that actually Brahman is all pervading, only Brahman exists.
That's amazing.
This is their explanation. We are saying that you have to surrender. They said no surrender. Surrender means first you surrender to surrender to the concept that everything is so you basically you understand Vasudeva Sarvam, including you. Sarvam means you also, no? That's how they take it. Sarvam means everything. So now you go to this word, you forget, and you take standalone statements. You don't take other statements in Bhagavad Gita that contradicts your thing. And if anything contradicts, you twist that also. So this is what Mayavadis do. But then you see what he is doing. He is worshipping Satya Sai. He is worshipping Satya Sai Baba. Every year he will fly from here, San Francisco, to India, and every year he will do one big puja in his house for Satya Sai Baba. He's my cousin uncle.
Not your cousin, who's Satya Sai Baba.
Satya. What do I say about this rascal? Satya Sai Baba is a man-made god. Where he produces some ashes and then he goes on a wheelchair and people worship him as God, and he also has pedophilia accusations against him, and also when he died they found like 100 kilograms of gold or something they found in his stash, or so many things are there. This God, only when he wanted to bring water to Chennai, instead of bringing the rain, he built a canal from Andhra Pradesh, and the atheist chief minister is congratulating this God. You know.
One more quality he has is every demigod has a vahana. Every god has a vahana. So he has wheelchair vahana.
Oh, that's his leela. That is his mode of transportation. So these people, this is what happens. This is what happens when you become Mayavadi. And therefore you are still subject to three modes of material nature, because you have not understood, the Mayavadis have not understood the difference between matter and spirit. They do not know the difference. They literally say matter and spirit are completely, in all regards, everything is completely same. It is all Brahman. If you don't understand what is difference between matter and spirit, Krishna, what does he give explanation for Vidya in Bhagavad Gita? No, well, yeah, that's also true actually. But Krishna defines knowledge. Sorry, he defines knowledge. I'm sorry. No. Huh? Right. So, one of them is to distinguish between matter and spirit. One of them is to understand the difference between matter and spirit. This is called knowledge. One of the characteristics of knowledge is to distinguish what is matter and what is spirit. If you don't know what is matter, if you don't know what is spirit, then what spiritual knowledge have you gained? Nothing. The materialists consider everything to be matter, including the self. They consider everything to be matter. The Mayavadis jumped on the other side of the seesaw. You know, they are on the other side of the seesaw. What do they say? There is no matter, everything is spirit. It's not very different. And therefore they are still subject to the three modes of material nature. And
There's 8 to 12, 13, 8 to 12.
13, 8 to 12, yeah. So anyways, I wanted to read an entire section of Bhaja Govindam, which is so amazing, that, you know, how Shankara like smashes and he exposes these people in that song, Bhaja Govindam, but it's 8:45, so I'm going to stop here. You know, if there are any questions or comments, please feel free to send.
10 minutes.
No.
5 minutes.
No.
7.
Questions, comments, protests. Yeah.
You know, the main problem with Mayavad philosophy is that they come up with a philosophy from an analogy. You know,
Yeah.
That's their always. You know, another famous one is, get a piece of paper. We will tear all these pieces of paper. Can you put all the pieces back? No. You know, and then therefore you're Brahman. You know, and they have so many stupid things like this. It's completely dumb. You know, but they have, you know, they come up with philosophy from analogy, but that doesn't really work. You know, so if they say Brahma
Get a
Satya,
longer cable for this, right?
if they say Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya, then is it Jagat also Brahman? If everything is one, Brahman also, Jagat also has to be Brahman, right?
Yeah, everything is Brahman.
But then why do they make a differentiation?
Huh?
Why do they make a
Then
differentiation?
the differentiation is
I'm
you are making.
I'm making it, I say so. But when they say Brahma Satyam and Jagan Mithyam, they are not making a differentiation.
They are saying that everything is Brahman.
But why are they acting that, okay, if the mic is the same and you're the same and I'm the same, so listening to you is equal to listening to me? Because we're all Brahman?
Yes.
It's all, so they can listen to a rock and roll song and listen to a Mayavadi lecture, it's the same thing.
It's same, because if you come
like
to the
you,
platform,
then it's same.
When you come to the platform of Nirgunatvam, then you will neither be affected by rock and roll music, nor will you be affected by Carnatic
Mayavadi
music.
lecture. Oh my God.
It is all the
They
same only.
transcended everything to become all one.
Everything.
Wow.
You will be completely reactionless. You will be completely that's their idea. You come to this state of where you're just, and they cannot follow the philosophy.
Right.
Ultimately, they cannot
That's the
follow.
point.
This is the Sri Vaishnavas also, that's why that Sri Vaishnava sannyasi were saying, yeah, when Shankaracharya, when his body was being threatened to be burned by this,
prayed to Narasimha.
by this king, what did he do?
He
He
prayed to
didn't take
Narasimha.
shelter of Brahman. He didn't say everything is Brahman. Oh, what is the problem? He took shelter of Lakshmi Narasimha. And he's saying Lakshmi Narasimha Karamalamba Stotram. He sang that. So this Shankara himself cannot follow his philosophy.
Right.
That when he is in danger, he took shelter of Lakshmi Narasimha. He didn't take shelter of some Brahman, impersonal Brahman, something like this.
And even when his mother was dying, Shankara went to her ear and chanted the names of Lord
Well,
Rama.
that's because he's covered Vaishnava.
Yeah.
know,
And it's amazing that even the Mayavadis, even for Narayana and all these, they have like a secret impersonal meaning. But if you read Shankaracharya's commentary on the Vishnu Sahasranama,
It's not that they give an impersonal meaning for everything.
oh
Like for example, Narayana or Vishnu, they give very apt, if you read the whole
yeah,
Vishnu
Shankara's
Sahasranama.
commentary.
many times.
Yeah.
See, the point is,
No, but it's up to, it's on what level you are on.
no, the point is that they give very apt meaning of that. They give very apt meaning according to the Shastra. What is it? Nara and Ayana and Narayana.
Yeah, yeah.
But ultimately everything is Brahman. That is
Right,
their
right.
idea.
Right. See, they'll explain it in both ways, Prabhu. I've seen explanation in both ways.
No. The thing is that explanation, I'll talk once. That explanation, whatever they are trying to give, that is for you because you are in Maya.
Yeah.
You have not transcended the modes. That's why you have to do this Panchupasana.
And you have to do samskaras, everything, yeah.
So that you can come to the platform of
Brahman.
understanding that you are also Brahman.
Right.
You are that Tattvamasi.
Yeah.
So until you have come to that, you do bhakti, you do some charity. Tapodana, Krishna says, Tapodana danam. What is that? Everybody gets purified through these three things. So they can, you give dana, you give this one, you do this one. This is for you. It's not for us. So we have transcended. So that's why a grihastha is considered as a sansari.
Yeah, sansari.
Sansari means he is not given that jnana.
And wife is literally called
This
sansari.
word jnana they like.
Yeah.
They like a lot. If you see the jnana, they speak about jnana. But the real jnana, they don't give to the people.
No, they don't,
Unless and until you take sannyas. Of course, they give to Kshatriyas also, they give, that is called Kshetra sannyas. They give. Yeah, as you were saying in the lecture. Kshatriyas, they give Kshetra sannyas. For Brahmanas, they give Parivrajaka. Their sannyas is different. So point is that even Madhvas give Kshetra sannyas to those who are not born in Brahmana families. So other Vaishyas and Shudras, they don't consider them as human beings at all. That is another thing. That to that extent. So the main point is that they give definition of each and every word in the Shastra, as Shankaracharya Guru Maharaj is explaining in his
Vishnu Sahasranama.
they give very apt, and it is more, sometimes it is more beautiful than Vaishnava, but their ultimate game is Brahman.
Yeah.
What is that? Brahma Satyam Jagat Meda Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. This is the other two words are this. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. So Jiva is now Jiva because he has covered man. So what is that? Man minus desire is equal to God.
Yeah.
That is what
Ramana.
is said. Ramana Maharshi is what? That is what is the whole Mayavad philosophy. Is that now you are covered by desire, so that's why now you are in Maya. But just minus the desire,
You are God.
are God.
You are Brahman. Buddhists say nothing, you say you are Brahman, that's all.
So then the question comes, whom you are surrendering to? Sarva dharman parityajam. You are surrendering to you, Brahman, yourself.
That's what
they say.
That's what they say.
In the
It
trains
is
and
not
all-
that one must surrender to
No.
Krishna.
Once I met one Chinmaya Vidyalaya person. So he was telling, pull out this Charam Shloka. They have this the Charam Shloka. Okay, read the Charam Shloka, Sarva Dharma Parityajam. And he was going on explaining how to surrender to you yourself. It's not to Krishna. That's why Prabhupada in Hare Krishna Explosion I'm reading, he's taking the book, reading the Radha Krishna commentary, but first he's starting that Radha Krishna is an impersonalist rascal, and then he begins his whole thing.
Yeah, and they
Although
go so
Prabhupada didn't
far
have-
to say that this mom refers to yourself. You know, they say mom. And Prabhupada saying, Prabhupada, what sort of fool would you say, somebody is speaking, bring me water. Yeah? You'll bring who? So if I ask, Prabhuji, please bring me water. You will bring water to me. But the Mayavadis are saying, when Krishna says, surrender unto me, you surrender unto yourself. That means, instead of bringing water to me, you take the water and you drink it yourself. No, it is actually madness. And to explain why you have to drink the water, okay, you go through this whole Vyakarana, Nyaya, trip through the Vedas and twist this and twist that. Why? Ultimately, why? Because you want to be the enjoyer. Ultimately, you want to be the supreme controller, the person who created everything, who holds everything. This is what the Mayavadi's greatest desire, to become God himself.
So that Mam refers to the undifferentiated,
Yeah.
unmanifested
Brahman within.
within Krishna, who is speaking through Krishna in the present body now.
And who is also us.
That's what. He is within us. So now that you have to realize. You didn't realize, so you worship me. That's another extent of Mayavad. You worship me, and you will also realize that you are also God.
Yeah.
This is.
One quick thing, this Shabda Nivritta, the last.
Shabdat Nivritti.
Yes, Shabda Nivrittihi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu points out in his conversation with the Mayavadi sannyasis that actually the Mayavadis, they come up with their own Mahavakyas. They say Tattvamasi, then what is it? No. They consider that. They say that it is their own Mahavakya.
But they call it Mahavakya.
They call it a Mahavakya.
They give it more importance than what it's been given in Shastra.
That's the point. Right? Tattvamasi, then there's like what? Yeah, Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. They have there are a few other things. Some Soham.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's three more things, But Lord Chaitanya says the real Mahavakya is actually Omkara. The Mayavadis don't say that. Lord Chaitanya says that the real Mahavakya is actually Omkara, and the Om, Ma is Radha, is Krishna, Radha, and ourselves, the
Jiva,
worship
yeah.
of all of them.
Yeah, the Jiva,
so that's the real Mahavakya. The Mayavadis don't say that.
Right?
Yeah, of course, they'll chant that.
You have something? Chitta had something.
I'm just curious what the Mayavadis think about descriptions of Vaikuntha planets or Goloka Vrindavan. If they're ultimately impersonalists, they don't believe in form, right? They don't believe in spiritual form.
No.
So, I mean, how do they explain these Shastric injunctions?
Of the Vaikuntha planets. I don't know. I think first
just
of all, one
ignore?
thing I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
They will just reject all the Puranas. First of all, you just reject the Puranas altogether, okay? The Upanishads do not go into these kind of descriptions. You reject the Puranas as being all for the sake. See, the Mayavadis literally accept that Shastra can cheat you, can give you false hopes and false explanations of so many things, simply to bring you to the understanding that you are ultimately Brahman, to purify you and bring you to that understanding. So the Mayavadis, they don't even attempt to explain the Puranas. This is how they get out of it. They put all the Puranas, they put it all in one box and they say, this is Smriti. We don't care about Smriti.
Did Shankara?
Shankara did that.
He did that, okay.
And then among
he's
the
like the
Upanishads,
authority.
among the Upanishads also, he chose 11 Upanishads and he said these Upanishads are the most important. There is nowhere in the Vedas where it is said that these 11 Upanishads are better than the other Upanishads. Huh? Prasthanatra is different. Yeah, Prasthanatra is not. So the point is they reject the Smritis, and then among these Shruti they give importance to 11 Upanishads and then Vedanta Sutra and Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita.
Vedanta means Upanishads.
Right, but Vedanta Sutra is basically condensation of the Upanishads. So.
And to extend his point, to say more clearly that even Mayavadis, they go to that extent that even the Swarga and Naraka, that didn't exist. Even Shankaracharya is very clear that it's all mithya. There is nothing like Indra or somebody. Even demigod planetary systems, they don't exist for them.
Really?
Yes. I told to my father like this, then what do you speak? So point is that Mayavadis go to that extent that even it is only Krishna is giving you that full, but that is not actual thing. Brahman is only thing. So that's why they go to that extent.
Well, if they
that-
say everything is illusion, then you
Huh?
can say everything doesn't exist because it is just exists.
that is
It's
not
just
that-
illusion.
There is not Indraloka, Swarga. Oh,
Like a mirage in the desert. The water doesn't exist, but it looks like water. It doesn't exist.
like for example, the Gayatri mantra says all the 7 planets.
Yeah.
All those. But all these things are, you pray to sun god, the rays, the Brahman, that is ultimately Om. That is the Brahman. They say that is Brahman. But it's not that Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka. There is nothing like exists for Mayavadis. That's why nowadays you see there is nothing like heaven or hell. It is here. That is why these neo-Mayavadis, they say that heaven, hell, there is nothing like that. Heaven means what heaven? This is all your illusion. It's Maya, one more Maya. It is said for you to give something, like a dog waves its tail, so given it. But it actually doesn't exist. Brahman only exists.
Yeah, it's a very depressing philosophy. It's just depressing, and yeah. So, Nali. Wow, we got 4 seconds. What's up? Are you going to ask or not?
Yeah, I just spaced out. I forgot. Anyways, there's speaking of Brahman, this and that, but actually, like in our definition, they're not achieving Brahman realization, right? The first.
The Mayavadis do not achieve Brahman realization.
Yeah.
They do not achieve liberation.
Because that.
The impersonalists are different.
Mhm.
The impersonalists are rare to find, and they're very rare to find. Let's just put it like that, because in impersonalism very quickly degenerates into Mayavad because of the 3 modes of material nature, because of the desire to enjoy and things like that, and you just conclude that actually you're God. No, that's no, the Brahmavadis. So the Brahmavadis, they may attain Brahman realization. And actually, even for attaining that Brahman realization, they have to serve Krishna. Otherwise, they will not. They have to perform little bhakti, it is said.
That's the last snare of Maya.
No. Mayavadis is the last snare of Maya.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, Mayavad means to the desire to become God itself is the last snare of Maya.
As in, like you're so deep in the Vedas, but then you like completely still miss the point. That's like the last snare. Like.
Yeah, because you see, Prabhu, even if you may be very deep in the Vedas, it doesn't mean that you're going to surrender to Krishna. You understand? As long as you don't surrender to Krishna and you don't take shelter of the pure devotee of Krishna, you will never understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. You will be diving here and there, speculating, reading this, reading that, so many explanations, philosophies, come up with different theories, all based on the Vedas. But yes, Vedas can give you so many theories. There are 6 schools of philosophy primarily, all derived from Vedas only. Okay, all right. Oh, we have to stop. Okay, well. You will look there, you see first. What's up?
How are Mayavadis and personalists, are like, what are they saying about like the Sankirtan movement? If there's like, very good.
It's a good thing. It's an activity that's recommended. Holy name Harinama is recommended for purification in Kali Yuga, no doubt. And all these Westerners, everybody should chant holy name, no problem. Everybody should chant holy name. Everybody should become purified. Very good job. You're all doing very good job. You're becoming vegetarians. You're worshipping cow. Continue.
Then you'll become like
But someday, in their mind, they are thinking, and they're just being kind to you. In their mind, they're thinking, okay, some future life form he may finally understand and come to our platform. It's. They don't accept them as advanced. You say they're advanced. They don't say they're advanced. They say what advanced? They don't know Upanishads, they don't know Vedanta Sutra, what advanced they are. You know, they won't accept. Anyways, they're puffed up. Okay. Hare Krishna.